Hey guys, this is video number 3, our shared reading video or read alouds. I like to usually do this with my kiddos on my lap, or we're sitting in our reading nook or whatever. I just love being able to read with them and laugh with them and share these stories. We're just going to get started because I have a whole lot, so I'm going to talk kind of fast. So these two, I want to be an astronaut and I want to be a lion tamer. They're the same. They go through different careers that you might not normally think of. This book deals with all thrill careers, with like adrenaline careers. This one goes through animal careers. But what I love about this book is it kind of gets kids thinking about, what do you want to be when you grow up? Do you have any dreams of what you'd like to be? Great. I'm a Hungry Dinosaur. There's also one called I'm a Dirty Dinosaur. What I love in particular about this one is that all of the illustrations are done with chocolate frosting and sprinkles. And when you're going through the book, you'll find that out too. But it has a really nice rhyme to it, so once you get started reading it, your kids will kind of get to know the rhyme. Again, really great pictures. Dan the Taxi Man also is a good book with a good cadence to it. My son loves this book so much that he can recite it from start to finish. We read it all the time. Dan goes and picks up all kinds of different band members, and all of their instruments make different sounds. You can start making different sounds with your mouth. It's really cool. Our Farmyard Tales is a combined volume, which means there's multiple stories in one binding. So it's this nice squishy cover with a nice ribbon to mark your place when you're finished. The CD to read along with if you wish. I'm going to go to the table of contents to just show you how many books you're getting. You're getting so many books. I mean, I can't even tell you how great these stories are. And there's 20 of them, so you're really getting your money's worth. So this is Poppy and Sam, who I was talking about earlier. These are our main characters, and they live on a farm with their grandma and grandpa. But what I really love about this book is that it's called a dual reader. And what that means is you have two different sets of text. So the top is for your beginning reader or your accomplished reader, and on the bottom is for you, the parent, which just offers a lot more detail about what you're reading. But if the kids just want to read the top, it makes complete sense. The story does. Such a great book with great illustrations. Jonathan James and the What If Monster. I totally bought this book just because my son's name is Jonathan. But once I started reading it, it's really great. It's about this kid who has all these fears, but then realizes that if he just got through them, then really cool things could happen. And then in the end, they actually end up doing. Busy Trucks on the Go. Again, one of my son's favorites. We read this at bedtime. It has lots of rhyming words in it. And it goes through a bunch of different trucks and says their job, but then at the very end it says that busy cars will say good night. Let me get to that page. They'll say good night. So that's why I love reading it at bedtime. Going on with bedtime, we have the 5-minute bedtime story. This is also a combined volume, so there's a few different stories in here. A nice ribbon. This book has amazing illustrations, but they're not on every page. Here's your table of contents. I would say probably not for your baby toddler age group, because once the pictures go away, their attention span will not be kept. And each story from start to finish takes about 5 minutes. So once you hit that 2-minute mark, your kid's already like, oh, I'm not interested in this anymore. But for your older reader and maybe your pre-K child, these stories are really cute and they're really heartfelt, so this is a great book for bedtime. Mark Just Couldn't Sleep. This one is about a kid who was literally thinking of every excuse in the book to keep him from going to bed. So his mom is trying to run through the house and make him go to sleep, but in the end he just falls asleep because he's too tired. Waiting for Winter is one of my favorite stories that we have for a read aloud. Again, this is not for your baby toddler because it's a long book, but the illustrations are really unique. But the story is about a squirrel who, instead of hibernating, wishes he could find out what winter is and experience his first winter. Well, his wish comes true, and he actually does. And so it's really nice to find out how he describes snow and the cold and all of those things. Waiting for winter. Americanly, I love this book. I love this book so much because you don't really find books a whole lot that are highlighting, American history and all of the national monuments that we have and our natural beauty in this country. So it goes through, there's a page on the Everglades, there's a page on Niagara Falls, and then there's Cape Cod. There's also a page in here about Mount Rushmore, which is pretty cool. So it just gets kids familiar with some of the great things that our country has to offer. And in the back there's a really nice map. A Tale of Two Beasts is probably one of my favorite books that Osborne has. It's funny and a really unique story. So it is split up into two parts. The first part here is about this girl who finds this beast in the forest, and so she takes it home as a pet, and then it runs away, and she's all sad. But then you go a few pages further, and it goes to part 2 from the beast's perspective. And so he's just hanging there all by himself, and then this crazy girl comes and captures him, and then he talks about his suffering all the time that he's in her care. So it's a really cute book. Lastly, I have Nibbles. He's notorious for escaping, so we think that we have him locked up, but then he nibbles his way through the cage, and he goes into books. And so this is just a unique book by itself. There's books inside of books, and Nibbles, our book monster, eats through all of them. Little Red Riding Hood, Jack and the Beanstalk, and then in the end we capture him. But do we capture him? No, he escapes again. So this is a great book because it's just really fun. So we went really fast, and if you need any more information on any of the books that I talked about, or you want to find more on the website, go ahead and do that. But I'll see you back on the Facebook page for our next video. Bye!